This is an EWB production. Hi, I'm Emmy Birch.
And I am Sandy Thornton, and this is the Take Us With You podcast.
Hey, Sandy, what's the Take Us With You podcast all about?
So glad you asked. In a sea of badness coming out of every news station, let's provide some light, laughter, and levity to this strange time we are living in.
I'm so glad that we're going to be going with you wherever it is you're going. Thanks for taking us with you. Welcome to the show. Hello, Sandy. Welcome to the Take Us With You podcast.
I am so happy to be here, and I need to make that go away. So when you hit record, the fun thing, I had a little thing pop up that said, this meeting is being recorded. So sorry for that. But I'm really happy to be here.
My ear, the lady goes, the meeting is now being recorded.
Yes, that came through my speaker system. Also exciting.
Is this a new feature that I missed in Zoom? How did I set this up?
This is the first time this has ever happened. Maybe it's because we haven't recorded in so long. They're like, oh yeah, here you are.
In case you forgot how this works, I wonder what happens when we push stop. I bet she's like, recording has stopped.
Hey, I mean, it's good. It's fine. I like to know these things. So I'm glad that we're recording. I'm glad it's happening. We are so happy that you are listening with us. And yeah, this is going to be a fun episode today.
Yeah, welcome to our summer edition. We have taken a couple weeks of rest and relaxation and wrap up work time. And so we have not recorded a podcast because we've been all over. Sandy, where have you been?
Well, we have taken a little bit of time. So far, the latest trip, my family and I, we went camping. And so I live in Ohio, for anybody that might be new listening. I live in Cincinnati. And it's really close to both Indiana and Kentucky. But we went up to this place called Hocking Hills, which is a direction that I cannot remember, but it's in the state of Ohio. And it's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. There's these beautiful gorges that are gorgeous, and you can go and hike into them, and there's waterfalls and caves, and I don't know, we just really enjoyed it. So that has been kind of the latest for us. And then before that, I went to Chicago with a couple of girlfriends because
girls trip.
Yes, each of us are celebrating our big 4-0. It's our 40th birthday this year, so we decided to live it up and
so perfect.
Go to the Windy City, and it was great. How about you?
I'm really thankful to be experiencing what it is like to turn 40, so I know when I get there. Thank you for all the tips of the trade. I'm only 5 years behind you, but I'm learning as we go. As soon as choir season ended, the Hubs and I and a girlfriend went and raced a marathon that I told you all about, and I not only hit my goal, I surpassed it. So the goal was a 3:24, which would get me a 5-minute buffer, 10-minute buffer for Boston, and I did a 3:18 and some change. Woo!
Yes, it is so big. You must be so proud of yourself.
I'm still really excited. Now I have some new goals. I want to qualify for New York, and it was just really fun. So we've been like kind of living on that. Spencer, my husband, PR'd by 30 minutes, and my girlfriend Kimmy that we've had on the show, she PR'd by 20 minutes. She did a 3:22. She was looking for a 3:29, and she just cranked out a great time.
I mean, what's next? Is it London? Like once you crack New York, when are you going overseas? When's that
So
happen?
you can join lotteries for those. Thanks for asking. But only stateside can we get guaranteed entry based on our time. So I got my guaranteed spot in Chicago by qualifying, and I got Boston. So to qualify in my age group for New York, I have to run a 3:15. So October, we're going to hit a 3:14 and some change and get that. That New York qualifier.
Thing you can't do, Emmy.
You are so funny.
Don't
But
forget.
after that, we went and celebrated in Napa. So after not having any caffeine for a month and no alcohol for 2 months, because I was working on being in my best shape.
This world.
Oh my God, it was amazing. Let me just tell you how much I loved it. It was amazing.
Good.
I love
What
Napa.
did you like? What did you like most about Napa?
I love the countryside. Yes, all the wine. I love the countryside. We stayed in the Oak Knoll region. It's my favorite wine. The wine clubs that we belong to are in that Oak Knoll region. It's kind of not too far north. It's really close to Napa, the city. And I like all the wines there, but we stayed in these little cottages that were very picturesque and very fairy tale-like. The cottages of Napa Valley.
Give them a shout out in case they
Oh, yeah. The cottages at Napa Valley. Whoop, whoop. It was beautiful, and I feel like it could be the perfect writing retreat. Spence and I spent a lot of time talking how the places that we could run on the wine trail and all the different things we could do out there, there was actually a dad joke on the wine trail. So there's this wine trail right outside our front door of the cottage, and it leads to all my favorite wineries, but it was also great for working out. And they had signs in the grass, and one said, "What is an outdoor treadmill called?" And the answer was, "The wine trail!"
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
was one other. Hold on, let me rewind. Oh, and there was one that said, "What happens if you run behind a car?" And it said, "You get exhausted."
Yes, you do. Good luck breathing.
Anyway, there you
Nice.
go on those. So
I
yeah,
love it.
Napa, and then we have a few more trips. We'll go do a family vacation, and we'll do a little bit of work. And then our anniversary trip, we always go to. Usually, New York is our place to kind of go soak up the energy that bounces off the buildings.
And there's a lot there. Yeah, I haven't been to New York in a while, and it kills me because I grew up in Syracuse, New York, and really it was only what 4 hours north. I could have gone
Mm-hmm.
often, and I
We love it. We're taking the train up
oh yeah,
and we're flying back. So we will be leaving in the middle of the night, like 11 o'clock, way past my bedtime. But at 7, we'll be in DC. And then we get to watch the whole East Coast and get out of Penn Station.
that'll be a lot of fun.
So
Yeah,
cool.
that'll be a
Just a
really
little
good
adventure.
experience.
Yeah, why not? There is a train across America where you can buy a pass for multiple days, like weeks. And we have tossed that idea around. So this is our first attempt at being on a train for an extended period of time.
You're so like global now.
Global.
Good.
More like
Yeah, we took a train
national.
to Chicago once from Syracuse. I remember my whole children's chorus and I and
Cool.
Dr. Barbara Tagg. Yes, we all took a train.
Yes.
And it was
So
great.
much fun.
Great experience. So cool.
Well, I bet on that train I have some pretty good dad jokes for you for the summertime. I mean, I did just give you those running jokes, but we are talking today on the episode all of our favorite things as like your summer bonus episode in a way. So we'll unpack a whole bunch of things, but let's start with some summer themed quick fire dad joke questions. Speaking of thunder and summer, we are having a southern thunderstorm right now. It means that it's like no clouds in the sky, but yet it's thundering because it's 1,000,000,000% humidity and like 1,000,000 degrees. But it's okay. So if you hear thundering, the world is fine. My dog's a little scared. He's coming over to hang out because the thunder is loud. Okay, what?
Him is in the frame, but the other half of him is not because you have that filter on. It's like,
well, we have to be at the beach for the day. Hi, Boo. Okay, what is brown, hairy, and wears sunglasses?
Your dog.
Yeah, I totally could be my dog. A coconut on vacation.
Oh, yes, indeed.
Why does a seagull fly over the sea?
I don't know.
Because if it flew over the bay, it'd be a bagel.
So, pause. I went to the bagel store today to get bagels for my family. Nothing ticks me off more than when people go in there and order a bagel, but don't call it a bagel. You know what they call it, Emmy?
What?
A bagel. Have you heard that?
No.
Mispronunciation? What? No, you've heard it, surely.
No, I've never heard that.
That's the thing. People call them bagels. If you're listening right now and you call them bagel, it's actually a long sound. It's called a bagel. Anyway, I'll get off my
very nice.
Now, go on.
Well, speaking of, what kind of water cannot freeze?
What?
Hot water. I'm trying to work on my dad joke storyline. Here we go.
You're doing great.
What kind of tree fits in your hand?
A palm tree.
A palm tree. There's one in my picture. Yes. What did the little corn say to the mama corn?
I don't know.
Where is the popcorn?
Oh, awesome. That reminds me of the joke that they tell in Pulp Fiction that what did the mama tomato say to the baby tomato?
I don't know what.
Ketchup.
Oh, that's good. I have one more.
That movie. Yeah.
How do you know that the ocean is friendly?
I don't know.
It waves.
I want to go to the ocean.
I know. So there was a palm tree and there are waves if you're watching us on the YouTube. I've given you some good dad jokes. What about your article, Sandy? Okay. Fill us in on what wacko things are going on in the world.
You would not even believe. So here is the article. This is from the Mirror, which is comes out of the UK. So it's British. Should I do it in a British accent? I won't.
Good luck.
I won't be able to sustain that. I'll just read it in my accent. It says,
still good though.
Balenciaga stiletto Crocs now exist, and shoppers can't tell if it's a joke. So let me show you what this looks like. I'm going to share my screen.
There's a picture of this.
Not that. Do you see it?
Oh, Lord above.
See that thing? Hopefully, friends at home, you can see it too. But
You're
it's
kidding
not.
me. Y'all, it's like a croc with like a pogo stick attached to the heel.
And it's like elevated like a high heel.
That's
And
awful.
bright green. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing now because I can't handle it.
I can't wear that.
Yeah. Okay. The Balenciaga Crocs collaboration, aptly named Balenciaga Crocs 2.0, will be released in 2022, but they were met with mixed reactions online as some said, quote, "This is painful."
Or ugly.
Both. Balenciaga has teamed up with Crocs to create stiletto Crocs, and the strange fashion creation has left social media users horrified. The new design has combined a classic Crocs clog with an elevated heel and comes in a variety of colors. Now, Crocs are just stupid. Like, I know they're comfortable. I know that's what people say, but they're just not cute at all. So let's make them even less cute by throwing a pogo stick on the bottom. Whilst it's currently
not even a cute heel. Like, come on.
No.
At least make a cute chunky heel to match like the ugly chunk.
You just got to stick with what you got. While it's currently unclear how much the shoes, which will be released in 2022, will cost, a previous Balenciaga and Crocs collaboration set shoppers back £600. So it's believed they will retail at about £650. £650 for rubber. You're buying
the
rubber.
Thunder responded to that. The Thunder was like, yeah, no.
Nope. The Balenciaga Crocs 2.0 were announced on June 6th and were met with mixed reactions. Shocker. With many people online baffled by the unusual look. One person said, quote, "I mean, WTF Balenciaga and Crocs are thinking they're going to do with this," end quote. Quote, "I love Crocs, but a Balenciaga and Crocs collaboration is what we don't need," added someone else. Whilst a third commented, "What the F is wrong with people at Balenciaga? Can't decide whether it's a joke or just making fun of people who buy these." Hang on, let me keep going.
It's bad.
Please don't. This is painful, added someone else. Several others simply tweeted, "No," while others shared gifs to show their distress at the footwear. However, some users loved the interesting design and are already wondering how to get their hands on a pair.
No. Who are these people?
I need those croc heels ASAP, one person said. You know who that one person is? I bet they're in some backwoods town and they're going to wear them to prom. Can you imagine?
Yes, unfortunately.
Anyone with information on how to get the Balenciaga Crocs will be rewarded handsomely, another person wrote. This is not the first time Balenciaga and Crocs have collaborated. In 2017, Demna Gvasalia and Christopher Kane even called the brand's iconic footwear the world's comfiest shoes. "We were inspired by Crocs when we worked with them on Balenciaga reinterpretation," Demna told French Vogue in 2017. Balenciaga and Crocs isn't impossible. The question of taste is a very subjective value. We'll see if this works in 6 months' time in the stores. I'm going to tell you right now, it's not going to work in 6 months' time in the stores.
Yeah, no, thank you. I mean, if you're a croc wearer, more power to you. They are great in the rain. I used to have a pair that I would wear when it rained because I walked to school.
Yes, they are. I mean, I've seen people garden in them, and I hear they are comfy as all get. My kids wore them. Like, my kids had Crocs. They like them just fine.
But with a heel.
Yeah, no.
Is that thunder is just rolling.
It's happening.
Well, speaking of rolling, we've done our dad jokes. We've done our article. We are going to now share a series of recommendations for the summer. Yep. We're starting with travel destinations.
Okay.
Sandy.
So, I mean, do you want to go? Me? Okay. I will go first. So I'm obviously going to throw Hocking Hills on there because it's the place we just went to. I love Chicago. Chicago's always a place that's fun to visit. But if you are local to Ohio and you've never been to Hocking Hills, or even if you're not local to Ohio and you're looking just for a nice, beautiful nature getaway, there are, I think, 6 various, I don't want to say state parks, but various places to go hiking if you're into that in this generalized area. And it's just very cute and very picturesque. So Hocking Hills.
That sounds awesome.
And then this weekend, actually, my husband Ken and I are going to go to this place also in Ohio called Put in Bay, which is
That's spelled put, like P-U-T, like put
foot.
dash in dash bay. Put in bay.
Put
That's
in bay.
hilarious.
Yeah, it doesn't seem real, but it's real. And it's basically an island in Lake Erie that you have to get to by going on like a barge, right? Or like a
Cool.
ferry, I guess. So you park on the mainland, you take the ferry to Put in Bay Island. That might not be the name of the island, but when you get there, there's really no cars. Like nobody has cars. So you rent a golf cart and you can tool all over this little island in your
Oh,
golf
that's so
cart.
cute.
And there's wineries and there's breweries. And apparently the longest bar in the United States, like bar, saddle up to the bar, is located in Put in Bay. And it's just a nice little seaside community. So we're going to do that. And by seaside, I mean lakeside. We're going to do that. And then my other travel destination for this summer is going to be to go to Colorado. And that's going to be our big trip in August.
Oh, that sounds awesome. We love Colorado. It's beautiful out there. So much to do.
Yes. And I haven't
Shout
been
out Colorado.
about a decade. So it's time.
Oh, yeah, totally. Well, speaking of islands, this past weekend, we went with a friend to Ossabaw Island. So Savannah has a whole bunch of barrier islands on the outside edge, and some of them you can get to by kayak, like Little Tybee, and some of them you can take a boat, like Defusky Island, and those are open to the public. They're really great for hiking and running and camping and adventuring. So Ossabaw Island was bought by an old Savannah family back in the 1920s, and they bought it from 3 families. So it went from 3 to a 1-family island. And this sweet lady, Miss Mary West, had lived on Ossabaw Island until she was 108 years old. So Miss Mary West just passed away in January. And so the state is taking over Ossabaw. And before that happens, I have some Savannah local friends who took me over to see the island. The mansion. There's a beach house. There's an old car graveyard where all these cars from like the 40s and 50s and are parked because they broke on the island.
I was going to say, how did they get there?
They probably ferried him over and then just never ferried him off. There were old shops and old slave quarters that they're renovating and stuff. Anyway, it was absolutely fascinating to see and to be able to see the old home. And we had a picnic on the steps of the old home, and it looked over off the Atlantic. It, I think, is 9,000 acres. I'm not really good with remembering numbers, but it's one of the largest barrier islands, and it was such a cool once-in-a-lifetime trip to go to Ossabaw Island, one of the barrier islands down here. So speaking of islands, I don't know if anyone listening would ever be able to go to Ossabaw. We don't know what the state is going to do with
I was just
Ossabaw.
going to ask if it was going to be reopened to the public for like.
Right now you can pay an arm and a leg to go hunting. There's wild boars, and there's a feral donkey community. We met the donkeys. No lie. Did you know that?
Wild
was a thing?
asses. Left.
I know. There's pictures on my Insta.
Nice.
Anyway, so I would say go to any type of island or beach. Napa, I could go back to Napa tomorrow. Of course, New York, because there's always something new to see, especially with Broadway and all those things opening back up. If you've never been to Savannah and you want to come, let me know. I give a pretty good tour. Mondays are beach days for me here in Savannah because we're about 20 minutes away from the beach. And Wednesdays are park days. I spend the day in the park. So that's what I'm going after this. Go sit. Well, obviously not because it's thunderstorming. Can't sit in the park.
Hopefully
in a
it'll blow
thunderstorm.
over fast, don't you think?
It'll blow over. It's a summer thunderstorm. Anyway, that's a lot of travel destinations.
Yes.
What about products that you love for summer?
Yes. So we have different categories. Next is products, and I am kicking myself in the butt right now because I forgot to bring my taco fanny pack to work to show in this episode.
I wanted to see it so bad.
And it is a thing of beauty. The only thing missing is a taco in the taco fanny pack. And that was like the one thing I was like, I gotta get a picture, and it didn't happen. But I brought it to Chicago, so I broke the girl in.
She was
totally worthy. Great. So I would absolutely
Yes.
recommend. This is going to be, friends, the summer of the fanny. And if you need to get a fanny pack. It's on trend. You need to get one. So there's that. And then recently I've been using new deodorant. I've bit the bullet and I followed all the Facebook ads and I bought Lume deodorant.
Okay, I'm dying to know how it is because I've also been targeted with those ads. Is it good? Really?
At first I was listening to the people speak about it and I was reading reviews. I'm like, surely this is a bunch of BS. I didn't believe it. And I was like, I'll just get some. Actually, no, that's a lie. I didn't buy it. My mother-in-law, God bless her. Thank you, Jorenda. Shout out Jorenda Thornton. She was like, I bought this and I got extra. Do you want one? And I was like, yeah. And so she gave it to me when we saw them for spring break in Baton Rouge. And I swear it works. Like, works.
Oh, that's
A long
amazing.
time. Yeah. And like, I'm very particular. I've been a secret girl for years and I'm very particular about, you know, smell. And I was like, this is great. So highly recommend.
Okay.
And then my final recommendation for new summer products that I love is I have Rose Apothecary body milk. So if you watch Schitt's Creek, Rose Apothecary's in Schitt's Creek, and they have this whole scene on one of the episodes about body milk. And there's this place called the Beekman 1802 Mercantile, and it's in Sharon Springs, New York. So this is a real like brick and mortar store, but they sell quote unquote Rose Apothecary products. And the body milk is awesome and it smells like roses.
Oh, that sounds lovely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I went straight to feet. So if you've never tried on an UFOs
Hold that up.
sandal, UFOs.
Nice.
So it is not the cutest thing on the planet, but they are so cushiony and they have arch support and they make it to where when you're standing up all day or walking around all day, it's super comfortable. Shout out to my friend Chris, who's the UFOs rep in our region.
Nice.
Love the UFOs. And there's a
So
bajillion different sizes and
do
shapes.
you buy them at a store or do you have to buy them through a rep?
You can buy them at various shoe stores, various running stores, especially because they're recovery shoes.
Wow.
So there's nothing like putting on a pair of UFOs after a long run. OMG.
Nice.
It's wonderful. So UFOs, there's a really cool little shop here in Savannah called Salacious Salts. They were featured on a bunch of like TV shows and they've been in a couple magazines lately. But Carrie, who started it, is super sweet. She's in my Rotary Club, and they make these clay bath bombs out of Georgia clay. And they're these little squares. You put them in your bath, and you come out feeling like you are just lathered in lotion.
Really?
And they are fabulous. And it makes the water cloudy. That's
Okay.
important because I would like a lot of bubbles or a cloudy bath. So bath squares from Salacious Salts have been the bomb, and you can get that online at salacioussalts.com. And then last little thing, lotion. There is this OPI brand, like fruit infused lotion.
Like OPI,
That-
like nail polish OPI?
yes. So
Really?
my amazing nail tech has used it on my hands and feet forever, and all of a sudden I'm like, this is really great lotion, and I don't feel sticky. And
Mhm.
so she's like, here, just try some. And so I took a little sample home and started using it on all over. Oh my gosh, it's like putting water on your skin. It just feels amazing. So
Okay.
those are
We'll
my
have
three
to,
can't live without summer products.
I love it. We'll have to post links to
Oh
on our
yeah.
Instagram. So if people want to go and
Mm-hmm. Good idea.
yeah.
All right, what movies have you watched lately that you would recommend?
Oh, I haven't watched this lately, but it popped up again on my Netflix feed. And I was like, oh, this was a great movie. And it's called The Dressmaker. And I don't know who the director is, but it's starring Kate Winslet. And you can watch it on Netflix. And it is so good. Have you seen it or heard
No,
of
but
it?
that's gonna be movie night this weekend.
Yeah. And it was a similar situation. Like it popped up on a lark. I'd never heard of it. Ken and I had never seen it. And I think it came out about 5 years ago. I feel like 2016 was when it
Mm-hmm.
came out. And it's basically it's set in Australia around 1920s, 19 I want to say 1930s, 40s
I would
maybe.
love that.
Yeah, and it's about this woman who is from this tiny little town in the middle of the outback. She leaves, she busts out of there and goes and works in all of these fashion houses in Europe and learns like how to
So
be a dressmaker. And so she gets really sophisticated or whatever, and then comes back and like takes that tiny little small-minded town on by storm. And I love everything about it. And there's a Hemsworth in it, and I don't remember which Hemsworth it is, but he's hot, and so you should watch it.
All right, well, I'm teaching a film score class in the spring, so I always approach movie recommendations based on the soundtrack. So Cruella just came out, and of course I went straight to the soundtrack, which is a compilation soundtrack, and typically I'm like, compilation soundtracks, but this one is so good. It has some Bee Gees. Florence and the Machine do the
Oh, yeah.
Cruella rendition. It is so Cruella de Vil. It is so good.
I
So we
love
watched Cruella, and the movie is great. It's I would say it's a two-time watcher. I think that it's so well done. The Emmas, Emma Stone and Emma Thompson, are so excellent in the film that you almost need to watch it a second time just because there's amazing details that you miss. It
That's
is
awesome.
a beautiful movie with twists and turns and insanely amazing acting.
That's awesome. Now, do you grow to find compassion for Koala throughout the movie, or is she just a villain from start to finish? Or can you not say?
I'm not going to tell you anything.
Hmm.
I'm not
Okay.
giving you
I'm dark.
anything else. You have to listen to the soundtrack first.
Okay. That's
My
good.
music friend,
Awesome.
please.
Yeah,
It's so
I
good.
will. I will. I've been wanting to see it. I've been seeing all of the previews, and it looks like it's on fire.
The next little thing we're recommending is show recommendations. I can talk. I love movies. I used to not like movies until I took a film score class. I would
Oh,
fall asleep during movies. And once I took this film score class and really got into researching the music and the history behind the music in films, I now love movies. So that's like our go to date night, rent a really good movie, whatever, talk about the soundtrack. So I kind of get distracted in shows. So I know you're asking for show recommendations. I really loved and totally binged West Wing over the pandemic. It was
nice.
so good. I love West Wing. I also completely binged Dear White People.
Yes, we've talked a little bit about that. Go on.
Yes. And then the other one that I binged was the one with Reese Witherspoon in it on Hulu, Little Fires Everywhere.
Yes. Yes. Interesting.
But other
I
than that, I haven't really binged anything.
No, you're good. I feel like honestly, since the pandemic hit, that's all I've been doing is like binge watching this and that. So, right now we are actually watching this show that I think just came out. It's called Solo, and it's on Amazon Prime, and it is very interesting. Like it has a stellar cast. Like the first episode has Anne Hathaway, the second has somebody I forget, and then like Helen Mirren's in it, like just big name people. But each episode is its own little microcosm, and it's one person. So that one person is either talking to themselves or they're talking to like an AI. Oh, Crazy Eyes from Orange is the New Black. She's in it. I don't know her
Oh
act.
my
I forget
goodness.
her name, but
Okay.
she's amazing,
Very
amazing. And
cool.
the premise is they're a little sci-fi, which is up my like alley. Ken and I like to watch a little sci-fi. And so each one gets set, I think, progressively more and more in the future, and just these
Sounds
various
like fun.
stories that these people weave. It's very good.
Okay.
And then,
Solo.
yeah, Solo. So I would recommend that. And then also, like, I feel like I can't have this kind of an episode here on our podcast without referencing Schitt's Creek because I love that show so much. And it just kept me alive. So Schitt's Creek. And then the other one that I really like is Westworld, but really only seasons 1 and 2, not so much 3.
Okay, sorry. The dog is like, I want on your lap, I want on the chair. I want on my lap, I want on the chair. He's on the chair now. He's good. So, only a couple seasons of Westworld.
Yeah,
These are good recommendations.
yeah, it's a great show. It's really imaginative and inventive. Season 3 gets a little bit out there. I'll watch it again, but yeah,
It's
1 and 2.
now black outside. In case you haven't been able to tell by the change in color of our video right now, it is now
And
100% black outside.
are you worried about like actual weather happening? Does that make you nervous? That would make me nervous. So like
Mom,
no
it's gonna
tornadoes?
rain. No, it's
Okay.
gonna rain. It's gonna thunder. Well, it has been thundering. You know.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, this is a perfect time to read some books. So
Yeah.
when you asked about books, I literally went berserko because I probably read 4 or 5 books at a time. I'm really bad about like chapter, and then I finish a book. So tell me what you're reading, and then I'll give you areas of books that I would recommend right now.
All right. So right now I am currently reading this new book. It's called The Last Summer at the Golden Hotel. It's by Alyssa Friedland, and it just came out like a week or week and a half ago. And it's basically Schitt's Creek mixed with Dirty Dancing. It's about a family who owns a hotel in the Catskills. So like back in the 1900s, those were a really big thing. Like folks from New York City would try to get out of Dodge when it got too hot, and they'd go to the Catskills and cool off, a la Dirty Dancing. And so this is about that. And so that's so far so good. I really like it. I also have read The Institute by Stephen King, which is really good. And again, a little off the beaten path. And then I read The Magicians by Lev Grossman, and they actually made a show about it called The Magicians.
Oh, The Magician. How perfectly tamed. Well, I have 4 books that are kind of in the storyline of like stories, not personal development books or professional development books. So, The Vanishing Half, we just read that for book club. So good, great story, really challenging to think about. Dear Martin, I can't put it down.
I can't wait. I can't. I have it. It's coming in today for me.
So, Dear Martin, it's our next book club book, but it is a story of a black man who grows up in the Atlanta area going to a really ritzy prep school. And then he goes through some life experiences and starts writing letters to Martin Luther King. That's hence Dear Martin. It's absolutely fascinating. It really gets you thinking. And then Untamed by Glennon Doyle is just such. It's like one of those books where I read it the first time and was like, I don't know. And then I read it again just to see what I missed. And it has so many nuggets. And the other one is Bravey by Alexis Pappas. OMG. Highly recommend. My favorite quote is, be like the pickle. Pickles are better the longer they're in their juice, or something. She says it so much more elegantly. I want to be like a
I
pickle.
like that. I like pickles, and I will remember that.
I also have not been able to put down this book called Deep Work. It was a
Yeah.
book by Cal Newton, and it's the idea of what is deep work is part one, and part two is how do you get into deep work. Highly recommend if you're like, hey, what am I doing with my life? This is a great way of saying, here's how to sit down and get work done. It is such a good read, and his writing style is super conversational. I feel like I'm always sitting with a cup of coffee with Cal Newton.
Nice, nice. I actually wrote that on a post-it sitting on my desk right here because it's one of those
Yes.
I want to check out. So yeah.
It's so good. All right, this next one is
Oh,
All You Girlfriend.
all right. So this is Instagrammers that we love. So if you're on Instagram, I highly recommend you check out the following people. First and foremost, Celeste Barber.
Hard stop. Yes. Just
Mm,
yes.
She
Yes.
has, if you need a pick me up, if you just need something bright in your day, look at Celeste Barber.
Yes.
So she takes
Yes.
all of these like very highbrow Instagrammers that are famous, like any Jenner or Kardashian you could think of, and all of the videos that they make acting very themselves. She recreates it with her just very awesome self, and they're
It's so
hilarious.
good. It's
She's
so
so
much
funny.
fun.
So Celeste Barber. Another one is Betches, Betches, and that's just for chuckles, so little laughs. I also love Humans of New York because I love the storytelling aspect of them, and you learn so much about people. And I think that, um, what is his name? The guy that does it,
My
Dan.
dog has the hiccups.
But he does a great job of capturing the essence, the true essence of who these people are, and that they're not just, it's not just somebody working in a cafe or somebody who's homeless or somebody who's been an addict. It's like these people with these just very real hearts. So I dig it. I also like comedians. So Fortune Feimster, do you know who she is? Have you heard of
Mm-mm.
her?
I don't
Oh,
know any of these people on your
okay.
list except
She
Celeste Barber.
Okay. So Fortune Feimster, she has done a comedy special and she is just hilarious. So we'll post about this too, but then I'm not going to say all of these because I realized I did a lot. But the last one I'm going to talk about is Claire Desjardins, who is an artist, and I think she might live in Cincinnati. I might be making that up, but it's Claire underscore Desjardins, Desjardins, the gardens underscore art. And her art is just incredible. It's modern art, but she incorporates all these amazing colors. It's a lot like the back wall of the place that I'm at right now, except these are not famous artists. These are my children. Okay, so Emmy, who are your Instagrammers du jour?
Well, I want to ask before we go on. So you have comedians,
Yes.
you have people, like you like to follow storylines. What are the other things you would classify? Like, what other groupings would you classify the people you follow on Instagram?
Yeah, so I have a couple things. I do follow a lot of artists. I do like comedians, so funny things. And then I also follow a lot of home renovators. So literally hashtag home renovation. I follow that.
So I feel like that's the easiest way to describe my Instagram following. So when I first got on Instagram, it was just for running motivation. I wanted to really connect with some of these athletes as they were getting ready for the Olympic trials. I love following what professionals are doing. So I follow all the professional marathoners, like all of them, all the top guys, all the top girls. I follow some of the USA track and field superstars in America. I love to see what they're doing and how they live life. I follow a lot of triathletes, how they all balance it. But then I follow all of the Peloton instructors because
Yeah.
they are
How
so
many are there? There's a lot of them.
a whole bunch. There's like a couple that I don't really take classes from, but still they all have such a positive vibe. And so they share quotes, they share stories, they share real life. and they're fun, and I feel like you know them because you work out with them all the time on Peloton. And anyway, my favorites are Bex Gentry and Maddie Majacomo and Jess Sims. So it's so much fun.
Oh, I love it. So I think that's really good. And I use Instagram kind of as an escape sometimes. I
Yes,
just like to
precisely.
I like to see what's going on in the world. And if I just need a minute away from my desk, it's a great place to go. So
I think so too.
yeah.
Hmm.
Speaking of a place to go,
A place to go and a moment away. What are your summer libations, my friend?
yes. Okay. So I would recommend this summer be the summer of mango margaritas. I'm going to tell all of you that, except made by my husband, Ken, because he makes really good ones to the point where if you have more than one, you don't remember much.
So when I come up to visit, he shall make me a mango margarita.
Yes, he will.
He better make it on the light side because I'm a lightweight.
I've told him he needs to make it a little bit more on the light side for me because it's a little too fun. How about you? What is your summer libation?
So I'm calling it the LWP. Lights, whites, and pinks for the summer, LWP. So obviously wine from Napa or Sauv Blancs from New Zealand. Those are my faves. Beer from local breweries. I just went to Proof in Tallahassee, and they have a beer called Flamingo Party.
What is it?
And strawberry and passion fruit and all sorts of stuff. I'm sorry my dog is in this episode so much.
I love which dog is that?
This is Boudreaux. He's really upset by the thunderstorm, so he needs
I
attention.
just love, he can be our little take us with you mascot.
He's like, what are we doing, Mom? Can you take me? It's now thundering loudly. Anyway, so we also have a lot of breweries in my neighborhood. My neighborhood has like 3 breweries within walking distance. Awesome. And of course there's like another handful of them downtown in Savannah. So all the LWPs for me, lights, whites, and pinks.
Love it. Now, does Spencer also, is he a brewery fan?
Yes, he likes brown ales and he likes some IPAs. He'll get a like a flight and share it with me. And the best part is like we'll taste everything and then we usually like the opposite things.
So what is your preference for beer?
I like it lighter. Okay, so I do like an occasional brown ale or bourbon barrel ale or something, but only in the winter. It's too heavy.
They are good winter drinks. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And I don't eat a ton of wheat. Like I don't eat a lot of gluten in my diet anyway because of inflammation and stuff with my joints. But I will splurge and have like a pint of beer. I don't like to be super rigid.
Yeah, I think that's good. Awesome. All right. Well, speaking of branching out, what are some new foods that you are looking forward to trying maybe this summer?
Okay, so we have a thing where Spence, whenever he goes to the grocery store, which isn't all the time, he always comes back with something rando. And he came back with one of those like fruits that's pink on the outside, like pink jagged on the outside, and when you cut it in the middle, it's black and white, like our outfits today. Yeah. Perfect matching. So that was a blast. It was absolutely delicious. It was
dragon fruit, right?
Dragon fruit. That's it. Yeah. It's like a kiwi and a pear or something like that. It was really interesting.
Huh. Interesting.
Very easy to peel. Like the peeling process was a cinch.
And do you have to like cut? Well, the seeds are a part of the fruit, right?
Yeah, you just literally chop the 2 ends off and cut it in half, and then the pink part just peels off so like easier than an orange peel.
Oh wow. Well, that's cool.
Okay. Do 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 do. Here comes the rain. Do 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 do.
Oh. It's happening.
It's all right.
It's happening.
But we're in the beach, according to Zoom.
Right.
So definitely those pink little what are they called again? Dragon fruits?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Yeah. The other one, which is a lot to ask because they're huge. Have you ever had a jackfruit?
I have, but I haven't purchased the fruit. I had jackfruit in barbecue.
Yes, I love it. Yes, so you can buy jackfruits in cans. You can buy pre-barbecued jackfruit in the cold section of your grocery store. Very cool. It's already harvested. It's already like brined, and it's easy to shred. It looks just like shredded pork, shredded chicken. It's delicious. We harvested a jackfruit for Thanksgiving last year. Cut it, harvested all the pods, did all of the brining and cooking. It was an absolute blast. Awesome. Very messy. Fresh jackfruit smells like juicy fruit gum.
And is that what it tastes like?
If it tastes similar to like a mango, like fresh, it's a very sweet fruit. So it's the brining process and the cooking process. So you brine it for a day or two, then you cook it and boil it for a while, and then you roast it forever, and that's how it looks and turns into that shredded meat flavor.
Okay, I wondered about that.
So
Interesting.
jackfruit, totally worth it if you see it. They're like
They're not
humongo, massive things, and they're super easy to cut. They look crazy, but they just cut right open.
like okay.
Hmm.
I wondered about that. Are they the ones with the little spines on the
Yeah,
outside?
they're like spiny, and they're either green or brown.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they don't have them at my regular grocery store, but there's a place here called Jungle Gyms that has everything
I
under the
bet
sun.
the Jungle Gyms would have it. Yeah. So definitely a fun adventure, but try jackfruit in the can. Trader Joe's has the best canned jackfruit on the planet.
Is there a specific brand?
Nope, just the Trader Joe's brand jackfruit.
Trader
They
Joe's.
only have one kind.
Okay, good to know. All right. Well, I really struggled with this because for the most part, there's nothing that I haven't eaten or won't eat other than liver. I won't eat that because that sounds gross. And I'm not 85. But before we got online, I was thinking about it. And you've heard of durian?
Mm-mm.
Okay. They also call it the garbage fruit. It's a fruit. And it's the kind of fruit that just in
Looking it
itself,
up.
it smells like trash. But if you open it up, it's supposed to be delicious. Like, wonderful, like
I
curve.
see the picture. It looks like a mini jackfruit.
Does it? Okay. And I have been very interested if I could ever, like, I don't really want to cut it or smell it, but if somebody could do that for me and then just give me the pods, I would totally try it. So
I'm all
that's on
for
my
it.
bucket list.
I'm
Hmm.
there with you. Whenever we find it, we should do it together. That'd be
Oh
fun.
my gosh. And we can film it for the podcast. Oh,
Oh,
live
so good.
action.
All right, we have three more categories. This is our
Okay.
like extended version. Welcome back.
Is yeah. Well, we figured it's been a while, so you could hear us talk.
Plus, we're
Sorry.
giving you other things to do and think about. All
Yes. Okay.
right.
Cool.
So,
New.
along with new foods, which I'm drinking a new thing we tried, Topo Chico
Oh,
Twist of Lime. Very good.
hold it closer. Hold it closer.
Topo
Oh,
Chico.
Topo Chico.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
new activities to try. What are you going to try?
All right. I loved yours, by the way, but mine is, and I've done a tiny bit of this, but I want to do mountain hiking. And I think I'm going to get an opportunity to do that when we go to Colorado
Yeah,
this
you'll
summer.
definitely. I was about to say you're going to one of the best places for mountain hiking.
I need like mountain boots. That's on my to-do list of getting.
So cool. My new activity to try is saying no.
Yes, boundaries. Yes. Good for
Thank you.
you.
I'm working on it.
It's important.
Sometimes it's better than others. Sometimes I'm like, no, but no, but
Yeah.
no, but it's really a challenge. So it's my new activity, really being careful and cautious of boundaries.
I think that is so wise. And it's a gift you're giving yourself, really, if
I'm
you think about
excited.
it. Boundaries are a thing. And the other thing that I need to work on is saying no, but not feeling like I have to qualify it with a reason. Like,
Yes, that's where
oh, no,
I'm
I
still not
can't
there
do
yet.
this because of this. No,
Hmm.
I'm not going to do
No,
that thing.
thank you. Awesome.
Love it.
Speaking
Okay.
of which, I got the idea of recording a podcast for the Music Ed Matters podcast. We did episode 60 was all about toxic positivity and perfectionism. So the only other podcast that I listen to on the regs is Up First and How to Be a Better Human. Everything else is a running podcast. Or the Illuminate podcast. That's a really great one. It tells stories of people who are illuminating their communities.
Oh, I bet I'd like that. It's like
That's a
Humans
fun
of New
one.
York, but as a
Hmm.
podcast.
As a
Okay.
podcast. Yep. So the Illuminate podcast and then a whole bunch of runners podcasts. So if you're a runner and you want to know my list, I have like 25 that I listen to on the regular.
Look, you can slip into our Instagram DMs if you want to find out, and Emmy can respond.
Yes, I'll tell you, but
I'll
I'm not going
respond
to
on
bore
her behalf.
everybody. Up First every morning as soon as I finish my workout, I listen to Up First, and then How to Be a Better Human is also really good.
So is it like what it sounds like? Just tips on
It's
how to
like
be.
I think the guy who hosts it used to be a fifth grade science teacher or something, and he's hilarious. But every week it's how to be a better human
All
with
right.
various topics.
I dig it.
So those are my things. I think I covered them. You have some good ones that I did not know about.
Okay, so what I usually I listen to a bunch of stuff, but usually on my way to work, I'll listen to the Lore podcast with Aaron Mahnke. And it's a historical deep dive of where we get folklore from. So he'll
Cool.
take a different bit of folklore that's been passed down through the ages, and he'll literally rip it on open and talk about different stories that kind of create on how it came to be. So again, I'm very big into storytelling. So this really kind of feeds that for me. And it's it's a little bit out there. It's a little bit weird. Like I learned about poison yesterday driving home from work, and how like different people used it for different purposes, and some historical background on the different kinds of poison that you could use to kill people. And now I sound like a crazy person. So I'm going to move on, but Laura's good. I also very much enjoy I Said No Gifts. I Said No Gifts with Bridger Weiniger, mainly because I really just kind of dig the way he uses speech, which I know sounds strange, but he has a very interesting lilt to his voice that I at first was very put off by, but now I think it's great. And he has awesome guests. So yeah, premises is just they show up, they talk to him, they give him a gift, he unwraps it on the show and then talks about it, which sounds boring, but it's not. And then I also like My Favorite Murder with Karen Kilgariff and Georgia Hardstark, and it's a true crime podcast where they bring up stories of like murderers and serial killers and things like that, and kind of unpack all of that. And again, it's not so much the subject matter because I'm not really into that, but I am very much into these ladies and how they communicate with one another and how they communicate the stories. So
there's a book we're gonna have to talk about that's all about like the character traits that you cling to most. Yours being conversation and mine being words and learning. And there's a book about that. We'll talk about it another time because there's a lot. There's ambulances coming down the road now, so don't mind me, city living with a rainstorm in the south. Final list of our great things for the summer. Tips before we leave you. Here are our tips. Sandy, the almost 40-year-old, what are your tips?
Stop saying that. Stop saying
I'm
that.
I'm excited for you.
Yes,
you better be excited when I turn 40.
Well, you know I will. So these are coming to you from someone who is edging past the boundary. But friends, put on your sunscreen and drink your water and get a haircut. I'm getting a haircut tomorrow for the first time since 2019. Emmy's got all the things.
I was ready for your tips. I have.
You're like,
you should. Y'all, she put this tip on the list, and I'm a rule follower. And I'm like, if this is Sandy's tip, I better get after it. So I took myself to the store, and I got myself hand sunscreen, face sunscreen for daily use. Both of these are daily use. We are not going to have wrinkly old lady hands over here. And I have my water for our podcasting, and I'm getting my haircut in July, so that's not too far away.
Oh, you are ready. You are ready. Just, remember,
I follow directions.
Face skin you have, take care of it, put on the sunscreen. What is your tip, Emmy?
Schedule your summer. Like, not rigidly, but schedule your summer, because you'll get things done, including nothing. You should totally get nothing done, but schedule it so it can be guilt-free. It's one of the ideas that came out of deep work, making sure that you take time to be bored, take time to be lazy, and then when it's time to do the deep work, do the deep work, but schedule it so you don't get to the end of summer and be like, oh man, there was all these things I wanted to do and I didn't do them. Schedule it. You have control over that. So schedule your summer and do nothing and do something and enjoy all the glorious things of summer with your sunscreen on.
Your sunscreen and your water.
I love it. Hey, this was fun. I hope y'all enjoyed this extended version of our Take Us With You Summer Edition.
Summer Rex. We'll post everything in our Instagram. You can follow us and like us on Instagram. Please feel free to subscribe to us wherever you listen to podcasts, which would be for us, Apple Podcasts, and on YouTube.
We hope that wherever you are going, you got there safely and it's not thunderstorming like it is here. We'll see you next time.
Bye.